So, it's pretty rare for me to talk about the most popular anime in a season, but Dandadan has just been so good that I felt like I had to make a video on it. There's a lot I want to talk about with this anime, but let's start with getting into the themes so I can tell you how good this show is for being able to showcase these things in a very unique and interesting way. So the biggest, and what I would say so far is the main theme of this anime, is friendship and having that genuine friendship with someone even if you start off on the wrong foot. We have seen this happen now 2, maybe even 3 times in this anime. First, obviously Momo and Okarun. They definitely didn't start off on the right foot, but look at them now. They are best friends bordering on lovers at this point, and that development, although fast, felt very natural and made a lot of sense with the story and the characters. The second time we have seen this happen is most recently with Aira. She's basically a bully to Okarun, and she thought she was some hero saving the world from Momo and her wicked ways, but after what happened in episode 7, well, I'm sure they are going to be good friends and fight these monsters together. The last technical one I want to talk about is Turbo Granny. She's the first antagonist in this anime, but after she is defeated and sealed into the cat, she starts to help out the group and she will probably end up being a real ally and friend by the end of the series, but I don't know that for sure, that's why she is a technicality. The friendship displayed in this show is great and done very differently from how most anime portray it. I have been very impressed by this anime as a whole, and this is a large reason why. This might sound weird to some of you, but family is also a really important theme in this series. We get to see just how important family is to some of these characters. Momo and her grandmother Seiko actually have a really wholesome relationship. Yes, they get into arguments all the time, and they have a lot of disagreements on how they handle certain things, but you can tell just how much they love each other. Momo never believed her grandmother had any kind of special powers and didn't really like that she was a spirit medium because she would get bullied for it. But the moment anybody else made fun of her grandmother, all gloves were off. She didn't let anybody else make fun of her grandmother no matter what. And Seiko always supported Momo even if he didn't agree with a lot of things that she does, or even believe in some of the things, but despite how unbelievable things are, she still supported her granddaughter and made sure she was loved. And lastly, on the family point, episode 7, that's really all you need to say. If you saw the episode, then you completely understand why that's all that needs to be said. I love how this anime combines both yokai and aliens together. We don't see too many stories that are both supernatural and science fiction at the same time. Now, I wouldn't say Dandadan is anywhere near a science fiction show, but we have still seen that depiction of aliens, which is pretty cool. Having multiple different types of enemies makes it hard to know exactly how to deal with each of them, as each one of them is going to be very different from the last, and that is what makes it for a great combo. This series is absurd in the best way possible. I have no idea what is going on in this anime. Sometimes it is stupid and funny and just has all kinds of insane stuff happening on a regular basis. But all of this absurd stuff is actually what makes this anime so entertaining. We are witnessing all of this crazy stuff for the first time alongside the characters, and so we get funny reactions from the characters that might be pretty close to what we're thinking as well. There are times when I'm looking at the show and I'm like, what the hell am I watching? But then it gets hype and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Dandadan. Dandadan is fucking hilarious. Like, there are so many moments that are laugh out loud funny, and they manage to be this funny while also not taking away from the other moments in this show. Episode 7 still hits you in the feels even though there are so many funny moments in the episode. It's how they handle it that makes it work. It is through character interaction more so than actually trying to be funny that makes it work so well. The dynamic between Momo and Okarun is one of genuine friends. They argue all the time and that is funny. Turbo Granny is the same way. They may not be friends, but their bickering with each other is funny. Plus, you add on to the absurdity of what happens in this show, and then you get so many funny moments in this anime that just work really well. From a technical standpoint, this anime is peak. Not that I actually know what I'm talking about, but just the way that this series consistently looks and how it feels is just incredible. The animation is amazing, specifically the stylized animation that this show often takes when we get into the action. It just works incredibly well and really adds to the absurdity of what we are watching. But it isn't just the stylized animation, there's also incredible lighting throughout the entire anime that enhances what we see. And the great music as well. The OP is so catchy, but that's what you should expect from Creepy Nuts. They made that god tier mashup OP as well. But really, the entire soundtrack so far has been catchy as hell. They have done an incredible job making this anime. The characters in this anime are the best part. They are so funny and they each have really fun and unique personalities. I also love all the little relationships being formed among the characters. Momo and Okarun, like I mentioned earlier, have started to become a lot closer to the point that they almost feel like lovers. However, they're not, but you can tell that there's a setup there and that their relationship is heading in that direction. Momo and Okarun also make for a great main character duo because their personalities are such opposites of each other that they just bicker all the time and have different ways of handling conflicts. This makes for a lot of really entertaining moments in the show where we see subtle conflict even if it doesn't really lead to any kind of bad blood. Their different ways of tackling situations is interesting to see play out. Momo is this girl who is very popular and fashionable. She is someone you would never think would associate with someone like Okarun, who is very nerdy and very meek as well, but that is what makes the budding relationship so fun because you just wouldn't expect it. It's almost like the reverse of a shoujo in that sense, because in shoujo manga, often the female lead is the unpopular and a little nerdy, and the male lead is the handsome, nice, popular guy. These relationships are playing out differently, obviously, the difference in how you tell a story comes out here, but it's still interesting to be able to form that connection. There are some other interesting characters in this story as well. Turbo Granny is a fun character who always brings out conflict, but also a lot of knowledge whenever she's around. Momo's grandmother Seiko is fun and also can bring out a lot of knowledge to the table, just a different kind. It is really cool to see two characters who serve a similar purpose have different roles and still both be really fun characters. The last character I want to talk about is Ira. She hasn't even been around for that long, but she has already made an impression. She is also popular like Momo, however she has a lot of different quirks to her that makes her really entertaining and makes her different from Momo in a lot of ways. All of the characters in this anime are super fun and entertaining to see. Dandadan is a really fun anime to watch this season. With the influx of more serious anime this season, having this one anime where you can just sit down and enjoy a fun experience with is just great. Plus, the story just so happens to be great as well, which really makes the whole thing shine. Alright, that was the video. If you liked it, maybe think about dropping a like, and subscribing as well, it helps out a ton. And if you do decide to join the community, then I guess I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!